Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Marvellous Monday. Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are. If you think it's Get Rich Quick, you're in the wrong place. This is the wrong podcast. This is the wrong live for you. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Hope you're all awesome and well. Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Hope you're well. Lee's up and about. Lee from Tassie. How are you, Lee? Good to see you, mate. Thanks for joining this morning. Kevin's there too. All good, Kevin. Morning. Good to see a few of you up and at it, folks. Thanks for joining this morning. Another Wealth Coffee Chat as we do. I'll get the intros going while we're warming up the live stream. Jason Witten's my name. Most of you know that, though. I've said that many a time. But if you're new, let us know in the chat. Be great to hear what you're up to, where you're from. Say a quick hello, or if you're rejoining after a while, it's good to hear from you again. So there you go. Welcome to the daily show. Well, the weekday show. The weekly show? Yeah. The daily weekday show. I think that's the way to do it. Anyway, there you go. Get together about 10 past 8 each day and talk about the idea of property investing. Folks, takes time. You guys know the drill. Takes time to grow and keep and get to where you want to go when it comes to growing your property portfolio. And today I thought we might talk about the concept, a bit of the system behind or overlay or circle around, whatever you want to say, that over the last 20 odd years, coaching thousands and thousands of customers and clients, we've put together a bit of a process where you can, check in on what you're up to and make a bit of a plan when it comes to your outcome or what you need to do, where you're going. Mizu, great to have you here. Welcome. So, great to see you here. For the rest of you folks, give Mizu a bit of a hello in the chat. Fritz is there too. Every day we go live, Mizu, so great to have you here, Fritz. Morning, mate. All right, well, let's have a bit of a conversation this morning about, how do you put this together? Now, for me, especially for property investing, the idea of property investing is a very simple equation. It's not necessarily easy. It's not necessarily not complicated. Well, it is complicated to do the thing, but the idea of what is it that you are going to do should be really simple. Now, at the end of the day, the goal for you as a property investor should be very, very straightforward, folks. So, I'm going to talk about that today and, talk about let's not get a tactic confused with a goal or a strategy or, structures. All right. So let's go high level. Let's talk about this morning and play along in the chat if you can. Be great to hear from you. Right. Tell me right now about if you're there, what is the goal for you as a property investor? What's the goal? What's the point? Why? What is it? What is it that you want from your property investing? What is it that the property investing is going to create for you? Now go high level and break it down to the simplest thing that you can create as a goal. Folks, put that in the chat for me. And I'm pretty sure it'll be pretty well the same for everyone. However, what is it that you want from your property investing? Most people I talk to want, yeah, exactly. All right. You want an income of some description. And, you know, a lot of people call it, you know, a passive income. Passive income. All right. No such thing as passive these days, but we all know what we all mean when we say we want a passive income. We want an income that comes from our assets so you don't have to exchange time for money. Everyone cool with that? Okay, perfect. That's awesome. Now, this is the goal, folks. Now, what can you get from that goal as all the other things? This is the what, all right? If I had $150,000 of passive income coming from my assets that I didn't have to go to work for, didn't have to exchange time for money for, what would I do with that? Well, I'd travel a bit more. I'd do more hobbies. I might start a business, whatever it is. The what is not the goal. Okay, the what is not the goal. Okay, it's a secondary outcome of hitting the goal, creating something. So the income is the thing. All right, so let's just use, you know, our income goal over there. Let's use an income goal of 100K passive because I've already created some calculations here. That's what it looks like. Now, some of us, like me, I create income from my businesses as well. So for me, a secondary goal or a goal is something like a place of storage, okay? Instead of storing my cash in a bank, I store my cash in property, and I want to have liquidity, okay? So I've got a goal of $500,000 passive, and I've got a liquidity so I could grab at any moment in time $1 million in cash like that, or $1 million in equity, usable equity. That's a goal for me. So I've got two goals. You might have one, which is the income goal. I suggest in the future, when we get to the point of coming closer to lifestyle, you want to arrange your circumstances so you can have access to cash flow and instant lump of cash, instant chunk of cash, okay? So now that's as simple as it needs to be. Now, listen to me, team, folks. Don't make it more complicated than that, okay? So, you know, so what do? Income goal, let's do a little bit of a rationalization check. If you're sitting there right now and go, right, I want X passive income, and in the future, I want to make sure that, you know, that's working. We've got a calculator for you at Positive. Reach out to your coach. Some of you may have seen this calculator before. I'll make that a smidgen bigger. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that might work there. There we go. All right, smidgen bigger. So let's look at this just quickly. I'm not going to dive into the calculator, how to use it today and all that sort of thing. But, you know, I do a bit of a sensibility check, right? So my goal is X amount of income. Now, there's a couple of dimensions to this goal, okay? There's some dimensions to this goal, just quickly before I do the calculator, actually. Couple of dimensions to the goal. So how long? Time frame. Now, we're property investors. For most of us, we might be creating out a property. So I'm saying 15 to 20 years. And so if you're there, what's your time frame? What's your time frame of your goal, right? I want 100K passive from my assets that I don't have to exchange time for money for within the next 15 to 20 years. Hey, morning, Chris. We've got Jeff in the house. Stephen's there too. Chol, morning. Good to see you guys. Hello, hello. All right, so I'm on 100K, 15 to 20 years. That's great. That's my goal. Don't make it any more complicated than that. Don't make it any more complicated than that, especially for property investing, especially for residential property investing. Let's do a little check-in. Like I said, let's do a check-in on rationality. Can I achieve that with some basic figures? We go to the calculator. We have a look at our starting position. We have a look at a few properties. And we see, all right, well, can we get there? Can we get there? And this is just something simple. And you muck around with the numbers. You muck around with the numbers, right? So here, 15 years, passive income, 45 grand. You know, will that work? Well, maybe, maybe not. Let's put it out to 20 years. There you go. So between 15 and 20 years, this number is going to work. Now, that's very conservative numbers I've put in the calculator. You know, I've forced no value. I've just bought and waited 20 years, et cetera, et cetera. You know, the yields are pretty simple. There's no extra furniture. Like there's nothing fancy about it. So can I achieve the goal? You know, rough numbers. The answer is yeah, I can do that. I'm going to try and find my mouse now, wherever it's gone. All right. Can I achieve the goal? Does it make sense? And you know, can that work for me? Oh, geez, there you go. You know, can that work for me with my goal? So I've checked in. What did it mean? That means the goal. Let's have a quick check in on that. Around about 5 properties with a 5% yield, growing at about an average 5% growth. So 5, 5, and 5 over a 15 to 20 year period. That's as simple as it needs to be, folks. Okay, that's as simple as it needs to be. Now, we've put this down. You said, right, I need to buy 5. Now, what do we do? What the conversation is, all right, what's our strategy? And strategy is where we start to talk a little bit about, you know, the big picture. The strategy is like where, what are you going to buy? Where are you going to buy it? When are you going to buy it, right? What, where, when? So for me, for you, okay, it's residential property, resi property. I'm a conservative person. I want to take, you know, a bit less risk, and I'm happy to wait because I've got a good job or whatever. Or I'm a bit more aggressive, and I want to buy certain properties that I can accelerate the income with, you know, because I've got time and I can take the risk. Whatever it is, strategy. What's your strategy? I'm going to do residential, buy and hold. I'm going to do the 5 city strategy that Sam suggests. 5 city is the five major cities in Australia for diversification. You know, 5 cities, a minimum 3. So we've got a bit of a rule. You guys know the drill with our strategy. You know, land tax, exposure to different markets at different times, et cetera, et cetera. You know, 5 cities. So I'm going to buy residential property. I'm going to spread it out between 5 cities, minimum 3 states. So you could buy, let's say, Newcastle and Sydney, right? So 2 cities in the same state, 5 cities, 3 states. Should put that there. 5 cities, 3 states, or 3 states or territories. And when are you going to buy it? The acquisition stage. You guys know the drill. Acquisitions. You know, I need to knock over that acquisitions within the first 7 to 10 years. Okay, that's our strategy. That's what we're doing. And down here, I want at least 2 houses, 2 units, and 1 townhouse. Okay, there we go. It doesn't need to be complicated, folks. Okay, when we put down our goal of creating what we need, you come over here to the strategy. It's residential buy and hold for me. I'm going to have 5 different cities, 3 states. I'm going to do 2 houses, 2 apartments, and 1 townhouse. Why am I doing it like that? The two houses, a little bit more land content, often grow at about 1% on average in history, 1% more growth than an apartment or a townhouse. That's big in general. That's not 100% true for everything. Why am I going 2 units? Apartment living, you can accelerate the income. Furnished or short-term letting, I can do that in the future, which is fantastic. Often a bit more difficult to do with a house. So I've got 2. I've got one for growth and I've got one for income acceleration. One of my apartments now, actually 2 of them now, up in Brisbane, fully furnished. I'm getting 8% rental yield. 8%. 8%. My house, I'm getting 4% up there. It's growing a bit more than the other ones, but I offset, right? And then a townhouse, often with townhouses, you can get a little bit of, mixture. It doesn't have to be a townhouse. It could be 3 houses and two units. It could be 2 houses and 3 apartments, whatever it is. I'm done. That's my strategy. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it, because the thing that we have to do is get to this. We need to get the action going on. Don't rethink it and change your mind and every 5 seconds change your pants. Seriously, folks, the most important thing is to decide what you're going to do and just get on with it. Get on with it, right? I can tell you right now, you won't care a diddly squat if it was an apartment or a house in 30 years' time. You won't. You won't. I'm telling you, you'll get a result either way. And for those people who go around looking at the what ifs and I should have bought a house instead of an apartment, or I should have bought an apartment instead of a house, or whatever. Stop torturing yourself. Just decide and get on with your life, right? This is the thing. This is the thing with this stuff, right? Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Stephen. We've got time frames, okay? As we go. Get cracking. Yep. The most important thing, I think, the most powerful thing is action, not thinking. You can't think yourself wealthy, all right? Think and grow rich. Think and then take some action, which will make you rich. All right. I think that book, should be renamed. Anyway, so you've got your goals, you know your strategy. All right. I want to, residential 5 cities, whatever, and tactics. What are tactics? Loan to value ratios. Interest only versus principal and interest. Do I furnish it? Do I short-term let my property? Do I, renovate? Do I maybe in one of these properties, I do a duplex or a dual income or whatever. These are the tactics that you apply to the strategy. Equity lock, all of those things. Those are the tactical things that get applied to things as you go along, and they're not always there. These things are kind of always there. These are kind of the constants, and this is kind of like the in time behavior, the in time actions that you've got to do, in the moment or in the market or in that chunk of time, right? The first 5 years might be interest only, and then it's principal and interest if you want to. Or no, interest only for everything, and then you get all of your spare cash flow and smash down your home loan, right? Because your home loan's not tax deductible. These are the tactics to get us our goal and apply to our strategy. Okay, so don't confuse a tactic, paying my home off, right, with the goal. Okay, the goal is passive income. Now, a tactic might be reduce some debt, buying power, which gets you to buy a property, etc. We'll talk about that another time. And lastly, structures, very important. How do you own them? So you can own them in your own name, your personal name. You can own them in, I'm doing this in order, an SMSF for property. We're talking about property. And you can own them in companies and or trusts. Okay. Now I'll do a bit more of a deep dive on that one at another day. But for most PAYG, for most career people, it's these two are the most effective. Now, obviously, check in with your financial planner and accountant, but, just ask why if they tell you you should set up companies and trusts. And if they say, oh, you're going to get sued, ask them to show you the evidence of that, because there's not a lot of evidence around it, even though it's real. Anyway, I'll do a deep dive on this one. So, all right, I don't have time for a deep dive on that today. So there you go, folks. You got the goal, make it simple. I just need 100K of passive income within the next 15 years. And I'm going to buy 5 properties with a 5% yield and a 5% growth. That's my starting point. Done. The strategy, it's going to be residential buy and hold. I'm going to spread it around between 5 cities and 3 states. There's plenty of reasons why. And I'm going to get on with it. I need to get my acquisition done within the first 7 years, 5 to 7. I'm going to get 2 houses, 2 units, and a townhouse, right? Then I need to deploy these tactics. This is where the action comes along. And when I own these things, when the money and the wealth flows through, I want to make sure that it's tax effective and, I stay safe and I can borrow well. All right, that's it. That's the drill. Hopefully that makes sense. Today, where are you at with your plan, your action plan, your goals, your strategies, your tactics, and your structures? If you need a little bit of help, reach out to your coaches, folks. That's what they're here for. We do this all the time, and hopefully maybe that got you thinking today. So that's it from me, folks. Join me again tomorrow for another one. 8:10. I'll see you there. Take care, folks. Bye for now.